It's like you're ready to move forward with being financially healthy. It's similar to your health. We spiral sometimes with our health and we don't take care of it. But then we're ready to look it in the eye and we're ready to drink the green smoothies and let's go. So, it,
Exactly.
so I want to start by making sure you're not being nickel and dime through your regular banking and financial structure. So I really want to make sure every last penny possible is landing in your bank account.
Congratulate yourself for showing up and having this conversation and just getting started.
Divorce can be emotionally and financially overwhelming. That's why I'm teaming up with Sunny Wishart, president and founder of A La Carte Financial and a certified financial planner. We will show you how to understand all things money without feeling ashamed, overwhelmed, embarrassed. You will learn more, ask questions. No question is a dumb question. Welcome to Money with Sunny. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Money with Sunny. My name's Wendy Rovers, founder of The Creative Divorce. Hey, Sunny.
Hi, Wendy.
Sunny Wishart is an advice-only financial planner at A La Carte Financial. And today we're going to talk to you about why your debt is creeping up, why the numbers just aren't making sense. There's not enough money in the bank, ends aren't meeting, and what's happening, why and where to start. So, Sunny, you talk to people all day long about this, and if someone comes to you and they've got to get their finances organized, they've got to get their numbers in order, they don't know where to start, what kind of a conversation do you have with them? Where does it start?
Yeah, absolutely. I get these calls all the time, and it's usually when things have gone on for quite some time when by the time they get a hold of me. Um, but I like to start with just conversationally speaking to them and getting their feelings around it. Cause sometimes the worry and the shame and the fear around all I know is my numbers aren't working and it's getting more glum as I go on. So what am I going to do? And I do like to start with just saying, let's just ditch the guilt because we're gonna. It comes from a place that by the time they're calling me, they feel so guilty and feel so bad that it's gone this long and they haven't dealt with it. I thought, well, this is where we need to start with, hey, don't feel bad. Congratulations. You've called. You're ready. Let's
Yeah.
do this. Let's look into this. And let's
Mm.
start with that. It's like you're ready to move forward with being financially healthy. It's similar to your health. We spiral sometimes with our health and we don't take care of it. But then we're ready to look it in the eye and we're ready to drink the green smoothies and let's go. So it,
Exactly.
yeah, we have our mental health, our physical health, our financial health, and they're all very similar concepts. So it's, you count your calories or you count your macros or whatever you're doing, you're going to count your money. So let's stop feeling guilty and be more proud of yourself for showing up and let's move forward and let's look at why. I need to know why this is happening because
Yeah.
the why could be anything. It could be your day to day expenses are truly just more than you make.
Hmm.
Or it could be because you've got a whole lot of emotional spending going on
Hmm.
and you haven't looked that in the eye. You know you are, but you're not going to talk about it. But we're going to talk about it. And that's okay. It's okay to have emotional spending. We just need to know what it is and plan for it. Say we need to
Hmm.
know that this makes you feel good. You're going to want to talk a bit further about why you're emotional spending with the proper people, but I'm going to help buffer you and we'll move on with the why.
Hmm. So where's the first place to start? You're floundering, you're feeling guilty, ditch the guilt. I hear that. That makes a lot of sense. Congratulate yourself for showing up and having this conversation and just getting started. And then where do you start? What do you do next?
So I'm very analytical. I'm going to start with finding out your why for you. So I'm going to look at your statements and just categorize everything. And usually you see glaring straight at you what it is, what's happening. Sometimes it's and some examples are just massive debt, crippling debt payments. They're just too much to pay
Mm,
all those debt payments. Sometimes it's some spending habit that isn't being addressed that were mentioned. And other times it's just the regular, and I'll see the numbers. I'm like, you're not doing anything crazy. You're just, your expenses are just more than you make. That's it.
mhm. So it could mean it's time to spend less money emotionally, let's say. It could mean you need to get a side hustle, you need to earn some more money, or you need to somehow change the expenses that you have. So whether that be moving or getting a roommate, or I mean, there's so many things that you can do. I can imagine that maybe you can tell us a story about someone that you worked with where they came in and with a little bit of creativity and some fresh ideas from you and with you, you created a plan that kind of helped them move forward.
Mhm. Loads of stories, but a
Yeah.
very common one that I've done this over and over and over again with people is let's just nickel and dime. So I want to start by making sure you're not being nickel and dime through your regular banking and financial structure. So I really want to make sure every last penny possible is landing in your bank account. We're going to look at your banking fees. We're going to change your bank accounts. I'm going to look at your credit cards. I'm going to change your credit cards. We're going to get you in the lowest interest rates, the lowest bank fees, just to build that buffer more because these banking structures are often stale dated in your
Mm,
household. You've set them up a long time ago and then you never thought twice about it, or we get hung up on. So I work with people, and again, these are very common things we change is the bank accounts, or you see these credit cards with these massive interests accumulating, but they're like, but I have all these points. I don't care about your points.
mhm,
Redeem them and get out of that card. This
mm,
card is creating so much revenue. And if you don't own that bank stocks, then don't
yeah.
get out of that card. So we switch cards. That's a very common strategy is you can switch bank cards and you don't have to be put through the ringer to do it. And I can help walk you through that. I look at your investments. If you're saving so much, and but then in the flip side you're borrowing so much, okay,
Hmm.
we're going to put a pin in this, just it's not forever, just for now. We're going to see, just like I said, every last penny in your pocket, making sure your investments aren't huge fees as well, or that they're the right kinds of ones for you too. So I revamp everything because we're going to start there.
Yeah, and it sounds like for me, almost impossible to do on your own. I mean, I would call someone in a minute to help me out. So what I'm hearing is if you're listening to us right now and and you're here with us and you're feeling the overwhelm and the guilt and the frustration, of course, perfectly normal. You need to work alongside someone like Sunny, and one little step at a time, you're going to figure this all out together. And there's nothing that Sunny has seen, at least I don't think so. Sunny, you can let me know that is embarrassing or that's wrong or that's a problem. It's all fine. Just start now. Am I right? Like, I mean, it's when was the last time I looked at my credit cards and my bank cards to see my fees? I don't know. So this is not abnormal. Most people don't do this. And it's the small little things, create the base. Am I right, Sunny? Create the base, create the platform, and then you move from there.
That's right. You want, and like for me, and the way I try to spin it is you want the bank to have less money and you to have more. And then I get people on board. And then I start with the
I'm on board.
strategies. Yeah, yeah. It's like, I don't want to spend, 20 bucks a month in fees and things like that. That is where you get poor fast.
Mm,
And once you hit that overdraft cycle and high interest rate credit card balance cycle, you get poor fast, because getting out of that, you need that heavy shovel. And we can do it. And I've got lots of ideas, and some of them are radical, but you
love it.
will be better.
You got to be willing to do some things that are uncomfortable,
Yes.
and willing to just kind of listen to the expert and just go for it. Because if you're not happy with where you're at right now, then what you've been doing isn't working. It's time to make a change. It's time to make a change. It's time to be a little uncomfortable and get your stuff organized. And I think from what I'm hearing, anything's possible. You haven't dug a hole that's too deep that you can't get out of. You can get out of almost any hole, one little step at a time.
And speaking of uncomfortable, I do want to bring this one up in this chat, because it's something I have had this, and you have to warm people up sometimes. But when I mentioned crippling debt payments, when I see debt payments and compared to income coming in, and if there's like no money left to put food on the table or even a roof over your head, even in the teeniest apartment with a roommate, it's just not right. So we need to make it right. And I'll often say it's time to talk to an insolvency trustee.
Mm,
Not that you're going to do this, but that to get further educated on if you qualify, because you don't necessarily qualify to do this. People think, I don't want to go bankrupt. Well, you might not be allowed to.
okay.
You- but if you do, there's other settlement options and insolvency options. And I've seen this really help people. Yes, it's going to ruin your credit, but how's your credit now? Right.
Mhm.
So what? They have so many options available out there in this insolvency space. And just a consult is sometimes all I ask. Just consult with them so you're armed with worst case scenario, this is an option for me. And then this looks pretty good.
Mhm.
We can, these guys will go represent you to the lenders. They will chop your interest rates. They will chop your payments. You pay them one payment a month, and then they'll chop sometimes the balances.
Mm.
Because the lender's like, well, if I get something, I'm happy. And they say, okay. And these guys will stand up for you and do that for you. Of course, they're going to get a piece of the pie, but if that means you can put food on the table,
Get a
you'll
fresh start.
sacrifice it. Fresh start.
Yeah. And you got to do what you got to do. You actually have to look at your reality, look at your situation, and make sense of it and do what is right for you. There is no wrong answer. There is no wrong. You do what works for you, what's right for you, and create a plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it requires change. So this is the thing is you, and I'm going to stomp on this again, because you are where you are right now because of all the things that you've been doing. If it's not working, you need to do something different. You need to be uncomfortable in order to create change, positive change in your life. That's just the way it is. Get through that uncomfortableness, and you'll get to the other side, and work with the right people. That's
Mhm.
really important. So
Mhm.
any last notes for everyone, Sunny? I'm sitting here listening to this conversation. uh I know things are haywire. I'm often short the end of the month. What do I do?
Don't feel guilty.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
just move forward, move on. Let's get financially healthy. Look it in the eye and stop feeling bad.
Yes, I love it. Okay, great. All right. Well, it's been an awesome chat. And thanks for being here with us today. We'll see you all again next week. And until then, have a great rest of your week. Bye, Sunny.
Bye.